grapes, apples, cherries.
On this episode of Finding Festivals, we're biting into the history of the cherry capital of the world.
And we grow 75 to 80% of the country's tart cherries.
Being amazed by these flying dogs and trying all things cherry. Additionally, we'll explore these must-dos in Traverse City, Michigan. Join me at the National Cherry Festival.
Hi, I'm Haylie Robinson, and I'm a former festival queen turned executive producer. Yeah, kind of a career change. If you want to learn more about Finding Festivals, connect me on social media, and get a sneak preview of Season 2, then check out the links in my description below. As always, friends, I advocate for you to keep finding festivals and enjoy the show. Northern Michigan is a popular summer destination. Some come for the dunes, others come for crystal clear lakes, but we're here for the National Cherry Festival.
For nearly a century, Traverse City has celebrated the local cherry harvest during the annual National Cherry Festival. As the cherry capital of the world, 8 days is fitting for a cherry fun time. See what I did there? There is cherry barbecue sauce, cherry maple syrup, cherry coffee. Coffee? Hold on.
I got my cherry coffee, and now on to see the rest of the open space.
If it can be made with cherries, it's here. A must is some cherry pie from the Grand Traverse Pie Company. Visitors can get a traditional slice, but I went for the flurry. With a sweet treat like this, I'm curious how many pies Grand Traverse Pie Company goes through during the festival.
I mean, between this shop and our Park Street and the festival, I don't know, 800, 1,000 a day, something like that. And we're also in a lot of the markets around town. So the number's huge right now.
What all goes into making the pie?
Pretty simple ingredients, which is pretty wonderful, and mostly
Michigan flour, Michigan sugar, Michigan fruit. So we try to source as much locally, regionally as possible, but it all starts with the cherry. You know, we make our pie crust right here in town in small batches. And then our crumb topping, again, proprietary, but we make all of that here. And sweeten the cherries with flour and sugar, a little bit of almond extract, and top it with crumbs. Bake it right over there.
The people that make,
and it's one by one.
Handmade every day,
it's one by one.
Yeah.
It's not a big machine back there.
I was noticing that the kitchen was full. To your point, there wasn't machinery, and it was truly handmade, and it was kind of almost took me back in time a little bit. Like, oh, this is what bakeries and kitchens look like, and you're practicing that craft.
And you can see we intentionally left it open. You can stand there looking at all the pies on display and look right back and see our baker, see our ovens, see what's happening.
I can't help but notice this adorable little heart on the pie. What's the story with that?
Basically, we wanted to make sure we could tell the cherry crumb pie from the lakeshore berry pie, from the raspberry apple crumb pie, so we put a heart on it so you could tell the difference. And since we were going to put something on it to tell the difference, we thought, why not put a heart on it? Because, warm your heart with pie.
So the slogan or the motto is warm your heart with pie. And this company goes beyond just making pies for the festival and in the town, of course, but you even pay it forward, Denise, with your programs.
Well, we've been in business for 27 years now, and it became evident really early on that we wanted to be more part of the community. I did some mentoring, and then Mike and I became involved with Michigan Youth Opportunities Initiative, which is an initiative helping kids aging out of the foster care system. That just led the way into, I was in child sexual abuse prevention it's going on 13 years now.
Wow.
So it's a heavy topic, but we feel like you can have really difficult and heavy conversations around pie, So that's
because you're warming your heart with pie.
Because you're warming your heart.
You take that passion and put it back into the community and pay it forward. It really is beautiful, and it's people like you that are staples in the community and make communities like Traverse City special.
I'm glad that you recognize that, because life is about relationships, right? It's about us and how we connect with one another.
What is your favorite part of this annual event?
It's Kids Day. We had the princes and princesses from all the schools into our Park Street store yesterday morning, making a pie that we then bake and that get delivered to the Munson Hospital.
For years, we made pie with the kids at the open space. You'd have kids that had done it for 12 years, right? And now they're 14 years old, but they still want to come back and make pie. And what an amazing memory that was for them, and how cool to be part of that.
But when you're really reaching deep and trying to affect a child's life in a positive way through the parades and the prince and princesses from each of the elementary schools, that's hard to compete with something like that.
I can say over the course of this experience is that festivals are the one and only place where community traditions are not only preserved, they're actively practiced, and people can participate.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in a museum or a book or anything, and that's the one time you really get to indulge yourself in the community traditions.
Yeah.
That's why I love them.
This festival it was a huge part in putting this community on the map. I mean, it draws a lot of people from all over the place. The exposure that it gave to us and our pie is, it's probably irreplaceable, you know? So.
Well, it helped that you put so much love into it and made it desirable.
Thank you.
To warming hearts with pie, right?
Cheers to that. Yes.
To warming
Cheers.
hearts with pie.
Yes.
I mean, you guys knew your pie was good, but wow, that's really good.
These cherries are good.
It is delightful. You guys should get in the business of this. You're really
Should
good
we
at
do
making the
this?
pie.
There might be something there.
There are plenty of kid-friendly activities, including rides, an entire area of the festival grounds dedicated to free family-friendly fun, and for those interested in venturing off campus, cherry orchard tours. That delicious pie has left me curious about the harvesting process, and Nikki provides a crash course on the topic. And now a message from our generous underwriters and donors.
Finding Festivals is brought to you in part by
Find some Lake Erie love? It's a sure thing. Learn how at shoresandislands.com and start an adventure today.
Toledo, more than you ever imagined. Learn more at visittoledo.org.
The Fort Wayne Museum of Art, Toledo Arts Commission, and by viewers like you. Thank you. Now back to the episode.
We plant the trees and they come, we usually buy them from a nursery, so we don't plant a seed. So the bottom half of the tree is called a rootstock, and that's bred separately. So we have actually rootstock breeders out there, so we breed those separately. And then the top is the variety or the scion, and then they get grafted together in the nursery. So growers actually buy trees that are almost clones of each other, you know, because it's the same rootstock with the same variety on top. And so we plant these trees, and then in the tart cherry world, because we mechanically harvest them, we gotta wait till those trees are physically big enough to shake them. And so what we do is we put the tree in the ground and then we take care of it. And then hopefully by year 6, they're big enough to shake.
What is the harvest season? Like, how long is that for the cherry?
Yeah, so it depends on the crop. So our crop size is a little bit smaller, but we like to think of the season as the whole part of the state. So we start the season in Southwest Michigan, and then we have a great bunch of growers in West Central area. I think those guys started at the very end of June in Southwest Michigan, and then our friends up at the tip of Leelanau County here, those guys will harvest sometime into August. And it's such a short window, and you have to get the fruit off. The fruit has to go to the processor really quickly, it has to get off the tree really quickly, so it just seems like it's super condensed. It's a little hectic.
It sounds like it's very much a community effort, all hands on deck kind of attitude.
Yeah, it is, and I feel like I think the whole region is actually really unique in that way. I think they're really committed to agriculture. I think aesthetically, I think we like the way it looks when we drive through our counties and our towns, you know, the cherry signs, the cherry trees, all that stuff that really says, hey, this is who we are. So I think there's a big tradition and heritage of growing fruit in this area.
Now, there are several varieties of cherries, but really only 2 species. Is that right?
Yep, so sweet and tart are 2 different species. So the tart cherry is kind of our main cherry in Michigan. We grow 75 to 80% of the country's tart cherries. So these are the red guys hanging behind you there. So those are a different species than a sweet cherry. And we kind of just grow Montmorency. So Montmorency is that older French variety, but these guys, this Montmorency yields beautifully. And again, I think no other cherry that we grow in the tart cherry world across the country is that red color. So I feel like it's kind of our signature a little bit.
Really? So you're not going to find a tart cherry of this variety, this red, anywhere else?
No.
Now you said you were local to the region, so you've been going to Cherry Fest probably for some time. It's been around for over 90 years. What's your favorite tradition at the festival?
It's local. It feels local. Sometimes when you go to other places, it's kind of polished. I feel like there's something about the Cherry Festival that just still makes you feel like you're in a small town. And so, you know, my daughter and my nieces, they went yesterday they throw, you know, things and the dogs jump out and get them. And we're like, did you see that dog? That dog was awesome. And you're like, are we really that excited about dog jumping?
Yes.
Or pie eating? Yes, I mean, so I think there's something really like, I don't know, and everything's free. That's the other thing that really, and I feel like it feels like inclusive, that it can be free. So it's not like there's a huge price tag on the National Cherry Festival that would exclude people that maybe don't have the funds to do that.
I can say from the time we've been here, it's very evident that everyone's very community oriented and very passionate about their traditions and what makes Traverse City unique, which is the cherry, and that's ultimately what festivals are all about. Celebrating our uniqueness and unifying under that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it feels, you know what it feels also really good? Is to be part of that.
Well, now I have to check out the Air Dog Show for myself. Though this is a competition, it really is about having fun. Since 2005, Ultimate Air Dogs has been a dock jumping event that is inclusive to all breeds and skill sets. Whether the dog is in it to win it or just likes a dip in the pool, all canines are invited to join. Oh wow, look at that pup go! This is so much fun. The Ultimate Air Dog Show is among many traditions at the National Cherry Festival, and Kat filled me in on some other local favorites.
Probably our parades, and next would probably be pie eating and pit spitting. The pit spitting competition and the pie eating are very standard traditional events, been around for a long time.
Pit spitting.
Pit spitting. You take the cherry, I mean, not this one, but you would eat it and then keep the pit in your mouth, and then you spit it along our official pit spit mat to see the length of which you can spit a pit.
Okay, what's the record so far?
Ooh, it's over 75 feet.
75 feet?
Yes. You gotta have the wind in the right direction. It is a whole game plan.
That's quite the strategy going in.
There are a lot of people who participate. We do it 3 times during the festival, and we bring out a giant mat, and yep.
What makes an annual event national?
Ooh, that's a good point. Well, we became designated as the National Cherry Festival in around the 1950s. Previous to that, we were Blessing of the Blossoms. Now in our 97th year, we are looking forward to, as I said, that 100th anniversary is coming before I know it. We were designated as a national festival, so we are nationally known, and of course we celebrate cherries all over the country.
Now, we've touched on how it truly is a community event, and it is all hands on deck. How many volunteers do you get throughout the 8 days?
2,400. Give over 45,000 man-hours annually to make this happen. And we are honored and blessed to have every one of them. They are the lifeblood of what we do. If we didn't have that kind of volunteer support, we wouldn't have the festival we do.
Throughout the years, so you've been volunteering since you were 8. You fell in love with the community atmosphere, so much so you're now the executive director. What is your favorite tradition at the Cherry Festival?
My favorite tradition is the parade. The parades are my favorite. It is a rolling storybook of the community. Every elementary school here has junior royalty as part of the National Cherry Festival. They have a prince and a princess, they're first graders. Each school builds a float, and those will be in tonight's parade and Saturday's parade, and they are incredible. They build them based off a theme. This year's theme is 75 years of junior royalty. So they've picked, each school is representing a different year of royalty or a different year of themes, and it's gonna be incredible to watch what these kids and families put together, watch what the kids get to sit on their floats and wave and smile in their beautiful cherry dresses and their sashes and crowns. It's an incredible thing to get to see so many people come out to showcase what our community does.
Did someone say parade? Oh yeah, Kat did. Oh my goodness, look at that dog, so cute. Well, thank you. There are 2 parades during the National Cherry Festival. The Junior Royalty Parade has been a tradition for 75 years and continues to be a cherished event. One previous Junior Royalty member is now a leader in Traverse City tourism.
Well, I mean, I've got a very storied past with the Cherry Festival, and so I was actually a cherry prince when I was a young man.
Oh,
and I
we're
got
in the
to ride
presence
on
of
float.
royalty.
Oh yes, that's right.
How much economic impact does the Cherry Fest bring to Traverse City tourism?
Yeah, that's a great question. So on an annual basis, tourism in general is well north of $1 billion of economic impact for us. And even in just this 1 week, the National Cherry Festival does well over $25 million of that activity. So you think about how many small businesses depend on that, how many locals, you know, that's their paycheck. You know, this is a really important part of how we sustain our community. So not only is it a special tradition where people are having fun, it's having a real impact on lives as well.
At what point did Traverse City really become more of a destination?
That's a great question. You know, after we got past our lumbering era, and the city was trying to reinvent itself just over 100 years ago, we really leaned heavy into agriculture, the cherries, and we started having events like the National Cherry Festival. And people would come in droves to come and explore and have fun and enjoy the agriculture.
One really big attraction is the Sleepy Bear Dunes.
Yeah, well, roughly 50 years ago, the land was donated into preserve with the national parks, which is a huge moniker to have, right? It's a national park. How awesome is this? And it's 36 miles of beautiful shoreline on Lake Michigan, and the dunes climb, you know, upwards of 300, 400 feet into the sky. So it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of space and a lot of enjoyment in a lot of different spaces out there. But that whole area, and not just the national park, but all around it, even to the south, further down past Frankfurt and going towards Manistee, these bluffs on the lake are all around and accessible in a lot of different ways. So it is special. It's neat to have a national park and to be kind of an entry point into a national park. And it's a different type of national park. You know, it's not a Yosemite or a Yellowstone. It's maybe a little bit more laid back and approachable and more accessible from different directions.
Before heading to the dunes, I advise visiting the Welcome Center for a map. While inside, check out some of the informational displays about the wildlife. With my knee injury, the climb to the top was a little challenging and well worth the views. It is advised not to go all the way down to the water unless you can confidently climb back up, walk several miles to the Welcome Center, or have about $3,000 for a helicopter ride. I'll just sit right here. Just look at that view. It feels like I'm on the edge of the world, and that water is breathtaking. All that climbing calls for some bubbly, in my opinion.
So this all started with a man named Larry Mawby, who the brand is named after. And he planted grapevines in the early 70s, not on this particular property, but down the road here. Prior to him planting, a man named Bernie Rink, who started Boscadell Winery, planted in the 60s. And these two guys planted a variety of grape varieties. They didn't know really what would grow best here. And over time, it turns out that classic European varieties grow well here in northern Michigan. And also those varieties make really desirable sparkling wines.
Now, do you exclusively work with grapes, or do you play with other fruits?
We play with other fruits. I've used mead in the dosage to finish a sparkling wine to balance the acidity. We finished one of our ciders with a cherry dosage, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're cultivating the cherry community right here on your vineyard.
Yeah, we work with one of the largest cherry growers, and we purchase concentrate from them, and we use that tart cherry concentrate to sweeten the wine.
You use a tart cherry as well.
Yes, we like a blend of Ballatin and Montmorency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that wasn't developed initially. I mean, we used just Montmorency originally, but Ballatin, the blend is more desirable.
So would you say this process is more science-based or creative-based? I know it's a mix.
Yeah, so there are definitely numbers that we're looking at. Primarily those numbers include sugar content, pH, and acidity. Our process is driven sensorially, so by tasting, by smelling.
We're currently celebrating the 50th anniversary.
Yes, we have our 50th anniversary cuvee here for us to try. And this is a really nice wine. This is a bottle fermented wine, so it's 3 years aged in the bottle before we remove the yeast, finish the wine, and sell. So this is made from Chardonnay and Riesling grapes. So those grapes were picked, fermented, and then the wine was re-fermented in the actual bottle where the bubbles developed. And then the wine was riddled and disgorged, so the yeast were removed. And then we sweetened the wine with a oak-aged grape brandy dosage.
Now, is there a correct way to open up?
Yeah, I did that pretty fast. I would twist the bottle and not the cork.
So twisting the bottle is the technique.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
So this actually took, 3 years in the fermenting process. So when did you start thinking about this mixture?
We didn't decide to make this wine in 2019. We decided to make this wine about a year ago.
Oh, okay.
When we experimented with adjusting the dosage. Because by adjusting the dosage using spirits or more sugar or less sugar or red wine or mead or whatever, you can change the complexion of the wine completely. So we can create several different wines just by adjusting the dosage.
Well, should we cheers to that?
Cheers to that. Thank you.
Cheers!
I think that this is really becoming well known as a destination for wine enthusiasts. We take the wine very seriously, and I think it shows, and other wineries are doing the same. There's a lot of talent in the region on the grape growing side and on the winemaking side, and our products continue to improve.
After some pre-celebratory sips, I'm off to welcome the next National Cherry Queen.
In celebration of the National Cherry Festival Queen, there's a coronation.
Every program is different, and I'm curious how the National Cherry Festival chooses their next queen.
Our competition is actually two-phase. We narrow down all of our applicants to the final four, and then they join the current Cherry Queen at all of the Cherry Festival events. They're secretly observed through all the different events that we attend during the Cherry Festival, and then they're also interviewed to kind of weed out the cream of the crop and who would be ready to tackle this next year of being an ambassador for the Cherry Festival.
You once were a festival queen, and you kind of got sucked into this role. I mean, what has it been like being part of the Queen's Committee over the years?
It's been phenomenal. We work with an amazing group of women. I was Cherry Queen in 2009-10, and shortly after that, they recruited me to kind of come on board, and eventually I rolled into the directorship position. But it's been amazing. We've just had an amazing week with the girls and the candidates, and enjoying all things Cherry Festival and from Traverse City. So,
what did you love most during your time as queen?
Oh man, there are so many to choose from. I think I grew up on a cherry farm, and so I'm 6th generation cherry grower. I think my favorite part was just the camaraderie and connecting with the farmers from the area. And then I got to speak up for them and kind of be their spokesperson for the festival. So it was just a really special time.
A special time indeed. The day I was crowned was one of the most exciting in my life, but the end was bittersweet, or should I say tart, like a cherry. It truly was an impactful year for me, so much so I'm out finding festivals and learning about amazing community traditions.
So what is your favorite part of the Cherry Festival?
I'd probably have to say either the air show or the pit spitting competition, for sure.
We heard you got about 29 feet?
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
It's all about the roll.
What made you want to be an ambassador for the cherry industry?
Well, I study horticulture crops, so fruit, trees, and vegetables, and I'm a really big advocate for all things agriculture, and I know the cherry industry is definitely in need of someone who's willing to go the extra mile, and I'm willing to advocate and do what it takes to help the industry and the producers in the local area.
I love that. you're already kind of a pro, and you just have a crown with it now, right?
Yes, who would not want to advocate for cherries in a crown?
I wish Queen Carmen the best year as the National Cherry Queen. Crystal clear waters and ginormous sand dunes may draw visitors to Traverse City, but it's the tight-knit community that makes this destination stand out. National Cherry Festival has warmed my heart, and the delicious pie, of course. I'm having a cherry good time finding festivals. You can visit findingfestivals.com to learn more about the series, get updates through the digital newsletter, and connect with me on social media where you can access more content on festival fun.
You know, it's like we're not known for making a great tuna fish sandwich. I don't know that you'd have really heartwarming conversations over tuna fish sandwiches, but
that might be divisive, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
Mobbiness?
Mobbiness.
Mobbiness.
Yeah.
At Mawby
Do you feel
Wines. Yeah, I'm feeling the mobbiness. Hi-ho Cheerio. Oh my goodness. Now that's the only cherry picking I've ever done in my life. Up until this point.
Oh, it's like 94 feet.
Oh, you can do it? I believe in you.
That's so far.
Hi, I'm sorry. Just take the dog, you know? That is the cutest little dog.